So, last time we were talking about patrol in different ways that we can, change police departments to maybe make them more productive, right? So we'll start with one that is certainly, was attention seeking at the time, right? So we'll draw a little bit here, and we'll draw a little bit here, draw a little bit here, and a little bit here. Then we'll put little colors here. And it's like dripping blood. Blah, 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 blah. It's also, because of this, it's also sad. What is this? What is this right here that I'm drawing? This is a broken window. Bleeding, crying, woefully at it. Out there, right? We are weeping red and colored sin. Crap. So we have this idea then of broken windows policing. So where does this idea come from, right? So if you look at an area, right, with areas where there's a lot of broken windows, right? That's right here, and this is in a town or neighborhood, and maybe we also have this is a little Cheetos bag, or no, it's a giant Cheeto puff, right? And, let's say we also had a bin of toxic waste. How do you do that symbol? This is good enough for me, right? And there's little radioactive clouds that are coming out. Something like this. So we have Cheetos everywhere. We have this toxic waste that's sitting down. And what does this indicate, right? Is that we have, a dilapidated structure. So something that's really broken down. And in areas, right, where there is a lot of disorder. So, if you think about things that are related to disorder, actually, let's draw that out. So if we think about disorder, in a neighborhood, what exactly does that mean? So, this could be things like there's, open drinking, so someone's out there. Perhaps this is panhandling. This could be homes that are in disrepair. This could be that there are loud groups loitering. This could be, I don't know, maybe it's open air drug dealing. Or so on, right? Could be any of these things. So the point that broken windows theory attempts to make is that little stuff, so little signs of disorder, because if we think about panhandling, if we think about open air drinking, if we think about, broken windows and stuff, so these are all little things, right? But broken windows theory assumes that little things are going to yield bigger problems. So if you allow little stuff to go into a community, right? So if you allow little incidents of crime that maybe aren't a big deal, this will lead to bigger crime problems and lead to more crime. So the idea then behind this little idea then is that we have to use patrol to attack a different function, right? So we use patrol. Has to be more than react. It has to be more than just simply reacting, right? Where we're just sort of in place, where we see something, we do something. It has to do more than that. So what do we do with that then, right? So if we have to be more than reactive, what do we do then? So police officers become more active in a community in such a way that they go from just simply being in their cars and seeing stuff and responding to calls and stuff like that to engaging the public. So this could be something like, we stop and ask officers for help or something. It could be like, hey, what's going on here? But the goal then is to see any minor infraction So if there's anything, and then, treat it, harshly. Now, in some cases, this could just be, like a little conversation or a warning, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that it's anything. So like, hey, please don't do that. Get it off the street or something. It could also be, you issue a citation. Or in more severe cases, right? You could outright arrest someone. So in this case, it's depending on what the philosophy of the police department is. If you see someone who's committing, a minor crime, you could be like, okay, well, we're going to stop you. We're going to check your warrants. We're going to see what's going on here. You create, like a buzz of what's happening. So what ends up happening, is to communicate a message, right? So this is all about sending a message. In particular, then, the message is going to be sent is that we're watching, so that no one forgets that the police exist, that they have a function in society, that they are willing to stop and intervene if need to, and we'll take the little stuff seriously. Because we want to prevent big stuff. So it's sort of like having like a really strict teacher, right? Like maybe you had in high school, there's always that one teacher that was like, oh, you love that teacher or that professor because they're so easy, you can do anything, like they're really sweet and so on, right? And then you could have a different teacher where it's like, oh, stay away, super strict, super tough, like be prepared to read, stuff like that. Like for me, I remember in elementary school, the strict teacher was Mrs. Ludwig and everyone Miss Landis. I'm pretty sure Mrs. Ludwig is dead now, but oh no, I'm sorry. She went by Ms. I remember I said Mrs. one, and she's like, it's Ms. And I was like, oh, sorry. And I still feel bad about that. It is ingrained, and I can't believe I called her Mrs. right then because it was Ms. as she informed me. She's like, I'm married, but I'm Ms. Don't call me Mrs. Don't call any woman Mrs. And I just did it right then. I like regressed to being a fourth grader. Anyway, Ms. Landis was really sweet and whatever. Miss Ludwig was tough, but I ended up loving Miss Ludwig. I thought she was great. Just as, and there could be instances, right, where someone really prefers a really strict environment or discipline, something like that. At the same time, right, there could also be some negative consequences. Where, maybe it's too strict and harsh. And so this would be good for like PACBAC is to ask, what are consequences of what are some unintended consequences of broken windows policing, especially if especially in terms of preventing crime or community relationships. So that's kind of what the core idea then is, that if we're really aggressive with the small stuff, right, it'll prevent crime in the long run. So with that, we'll pause here and we'll pick up in the